Peace. Hope everyone's doing well. I love a good example, so I'm going to show a really excellent example because I keep saying this weather isn't just weather. The supernatural will use the elements to do whatever its purpose is, and I'm going to show an excellent example. This gentleman's video really, it's called Really Haunted. I posted a couple of his videos in the community. He has a legit poltergeist. He's got some serious uh, entities there, and they really get off on mocking the Trinity. But I'm going to show you something real quick. Fair Use Act. Okay, so he's in the hot tub, right? Let me go back a little bit. Okay, we're at the beginning. Okay, so he's in the hot tub. And I'm going to pay attention to the steam coming off the hot tub. Okay, watch the steam. It's pounding. It's mocking the Trinity. There's the steam from the hot tub. Okay, it knocks this ladder over. Now watch. Here it comes. There it goes. There it goes, using the steam. See? Boom. There it is. See how that is? Now imagine a tornado. Just saying. And it mocks the Trinity. This poor guy, man. God bless him. Seriously. God bless him. I'm going to show this one more time for those of you in the back. There's a lot of steam here, which it will use the steam. It will use the elements. Okay, the lights are dimming off and on. I'm going to do it this way. Pay attention to the steam. We have a blast of light right there. Here comes the steam. Pay attention to the steam that keeps coming up this way. It's going to knock the ladder over. It's using the steam. See how it did that? Again, now imagine a tornado. So I like to use these little examples because I know some people have a really hard time grasping, or some don't, but, I just like to drive it home, let's just be honest, of how this is. I'm not just saying, oh, a tornado is a supernatural event, or weather is a supernatural event. We all know weather happens. We've been programmed to call it weather. When you go back into the ancient texts, you understand what weather really is. You can believe in weather manipulation. I'm not saying that's not real either, but there's a reason why they would be manipulating it, due to what they feel would be opposing forces to block or hide things and or give something energy. All right, it's just, I don't know, I've been doing this a long time. Hi, Miss Ferris. So I just like to really show a close look at how this is, and how the spiritual world really uses the energy in our world. The steam, the weather, the sunlight, the wind, whatever it can. I mean, this guy's got incredible footage. God bless him, for real, for real. Like, God bless him, keep him safe. This guy has been documenting the activity in his house, and this thing mocks the Trinity. When they pound 3 times, they're mocking the Trinity. So I'm going to play this one last time. And you can hear it. You can hear it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it this way. I know. I'm just doing the best I can here. Clearly it's banging on the window. So notice the steam. Then pounding on the window. All right. Notice over here. It's using the steam. It's wild. I've also been doing this a long time, too. I'm going to focus on the steam. It's got a big shadow there too. I'm gonna go over here. Here comes the steam. So it's using the steam, pounding on the window. It's in the steam. Watch. It's gonna knock over this ladder. Boom, shuckle, and then pull back. See how that is? That's why I say tornadoes aren't just tornadoes. And it wasn't, please don't take it I was being rude when I comment like I just don't, doesn't mean what you're saying I don't care about. These storm chaser runners, however they want to call themselves, I get it. Most of them really believe it's just weather. I totally get that. It's just, I see it differently, and I show it differently. I kind of prove it differently, and I understand how I try to just to explain how, for those especially who've never been, you know, experienced paranormal activity or investigated, because not everybody does it, not anyone really wants to do that, and how, and I've shown like the EMF, like it's kind of, I don't mean to laugh, but like these small EMF pumps that we, you know, they have for paranormal investigations, right? Well, we have them huge. We see them in the radar. When we see these blasts of frequency, that's an EMF pump to help something manifest, to either battle something, because you're talking about energy and frequency, even though it can take on an ectoplasmic form. It can clearly, I don't want to say, how do I explain it? Not be solid, but it can bang on walls. It can move things. I posted a video, I have 2 of his videos, and he challenges it. I don't ever suggest that. But at the end of the video, this whatever this is haunting him, waited till he went to sleep, right, on the couch, and you can see, I don't know, whatever it is, a remote control for the television, and he has a can of soda. It's moving the remote control, and it's moving the soda can. So, I don't know, it's all connected, and they do use these storms, you know, and it's really written in. And these weathermen know it too. Most meteorologists, there's no way they don't know it. They just, you know, feeding the script, feeding the program, if you will. And, you know, it tells us in a lot of these ancient texts of how angels will descend to earth, and how, you know, the fallen ones will descend to earth, and or titans, and what happens is tornadoes happen, the wind will kick up. And so I just like to show that. I really enjoy doing this. I can even see his face, the face in here. There's eye sockets right there. Like, it's taken on, it's using the steam. It knows how to do that. It's very intelligent. It's very intelligent. And I was reading some of his bio, well, not bio, but stuff in his post, and he mentions the Conjuring House and Ed and Lorraine Warren, and that, you know, the veil is so thin right now that most people who, even if you don't believe, it doesn't matter, they're still having activity, because we're in the spirit world. So that was, I love showing examples of, like, so imagine that's just a little steam coming off of a hot tub. Now imagine a tornado, and it's taking out houses. It's taking souls. It's taking souls, legit. And whether that's considered like a rapture or not, those are my questions. Like, is that what they call a rapture, when these big storms, and, you know, just get what I get guided to. Like, you know, I posted the video about the young man showing about the X's, which we've been following along, like the bouncing ball, with the X's from the eclipses and where these storms are hitting. It's on a spiritual level. So I do kind of feel bad for these boots on the ground. I mean, my hat's off to them, prayers to them always, because they truly are warriors, whether they realize it or not. Boots on the ground, tornado chasers, storm chasers, right, or runners, or whatever they call themselves now, they are capturing not just cataclysmic events, but prophetic events. whether they believe it or not, is kind of a moot point. They're documenting it, and that's super important right now, that this is documented, and what a time we live in that we can document this and hopefully have a greater understanding that it's not just weather. I mean, people can believe what they want, right? It's all good. It's just it's on a bigger scale, um, and that's where I like to just drive it home. Like, this is just a little steam coming off of a hot tub. Now imagine a tornado and what's coming through that, and and it is, and for whatever reason, it's hitting where X marks the spot, where those where the eclipse happened. So, and I showed Leviathan. We all know Leviathan's been here for a minute, right? And that was, I like how it's all coming together. And I'm hoping, I pray I'm doing a really good job at bringing it together, because this is, I don't want to use the word biblical. It's prophecy happening. It's prophecy happening, and we're in it. Are we in the end times? I don't know. End times of what? An old way of living? I don't think, or it could be. You know what I mean? Like, we all thought we were going to be gone 2012. Maybe we really did. We just don't remember. But we are in undeniable prophetic events, and this is why, like, I will not challenge, but those who are just like out there being like, oh, it's controlled storms, and they're feeding this and they're seeding that. Yeah, we do know that, but it's also, again, because maybe it's because I do paranormal investigations and I just see it at a different spectrum of, well, when you're paranormal investigating, depending on who you are, how you do it, because everybody's different, we have these tools that is the same thing, except for they have it on a massive scale, where we can see it on radar. That's why they built the radar, so that they could see what was coming in. Back in the radio waves, radar, that's how you communicate with the spirit world, right? Through EVP, through spirit boxes, which is a radio waves. I've, been part of people who are just a bunch of jackasses, sorry for saying it like that, irresponsible. And it was like, thank you for showing me what not to do. Thank you so much. Trying to create portals. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? There's already enough. Like, what are you doing? With, water features, right? Energy, bringing in energy for other energy to attach to get evidence, for nostalgia purposes, or whatever their ego needs to be fed, right? I bear witness to that, and then God forbid you challenge it, because they got all these years of experience, which means diddly poo to me, because all we got is today. But we have this on a massive scale with radar, with them seeding it, with them using these massive EMF pumps that Oklahoma's been getting slammed with. What was that, a couple of weeks ago? Into Thin Air was showing, like, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, I think some of the Carolinas, I'm not sure, but like how that was all being bombarded with energy weapons, right? Because it's energy weapons, that's what it is. So, I don't know, I just try to open the mind more, and yeah, for you people in the back row peeking in the bushes using your little fake names on my channel, I shut that down. Like, it was kind of silly because of a pink tornado, whatever, it was a pink tornado. It was because of whatever was, maybe it was blood in there. I don't really know. We don't know. We don't know why it was pink, but the point was, it was high strangeness. Whether that was clay from the earth, whether it was pollen, whatever, it was just high strangeness. It was a very unusual color. And there was a battle taking place in there. It was just my take on that. But, so that's all I wanted to show. I wanted to show how the paranormal, let me phrase that, how the spirit these spirits, and I can see spirits even in here too, how they will use our elements to be in this world, to taunt or reveal or effect everyday life. And then and it does, and people and some people, like, this energy's been heavy. You may be, some folks out there may be like in a depression or a funk, and they can't figure out why, which would be like out of character. It's because of the energy that's going on here. They will use the fog. This is like a fog, if you will. This is a prime example of how it used the steam, fog, wind, air, rain, snow, whatever other feature to make its point. So yeah, I don't really know. I have no idea. I just thought that was interesting that it was pink. That was that simple for me. It was really that simple for me. Like, a pink tornado. People started doing weirdo gender, like, whatever, that's kind of low vibration. Not to be a jerk, but if that's where you're at, that's kind of low vibration if you're making it about a gender. I mean, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. People are who they are. But I just shut it down. That's all. I figured maybe if you had a chance to check it out for it, shut the comments off. Like, just, it's the people in the back peeking through the bushes that watch my channel from my 3D world that think I don't realize that they're watching. Because I know you watch. You can't help yourself but watch. I'm aware of that. And when you maybe think I don't know who you are, I know exactly who you are. So I just want to put that out there. And I don't care. Have fun watching. It's all good with me. Whatever. But I'll shut your comments down. People I've never seen here before, I'll just shut you down. It's no skin off my nose, for real. So that's all. I just wanted to show this guy's got an amazing, God bless him, for real. Like, seriously, prayers for this man, because he's documenting it. And, like, the person I was talking about that in real life here, that I interviewed for, like, 2 hours for his paranormal activity, what I found strange is, and this is what I find strange with some folk, is that if I'm having activity in my house, right, and I'm not used to it, and I'm not an investigator, I'm just, a person living, not used to that, but you've had a priest out, you've done this, you've done X, Y, Z, right? Why would you not have cameras set up in your house? To me, that's basic, right? I would have cameras all over the place to document the footage. And I found it just, I'm not saying that person doesn't have activity, but I just found that kind of strange. That's all. Where this guy, look at, he's all like cameraed up, and he's got a camera everywhere, because that's mostly what you do when you're dealing with levels. That the person I was speaking to was basically saying, like, this level they were having in their home for 5 years made zero sense of why you don't have any cameras up. There is documentation of photographs, don't get me wrong. He proved it's real. I know it's real because I've seen documented evidence. But it just doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't have cameras up. But that's just my opinion. I would, but that's just me. So, and this gentleman he got sick of it, so much so he's invested all kinds of money on cameras and paranormal equipment, because I think that's just what you do, right? I don't know. Maybe we're just a horse of a different color over here. Anyway, I hope this helps for those to understand when I say tornadoes are supernatural, and it's even written in Greek mythology of how titans will descend to the earth, how angels will descend to the earth, and what will happen to us, and what happens here in our earthly plane. And there's no coincidence that it's where the eclipse, crossed over 2 times. There's just no coincidences. To help drive it home a little bit do you understand how this works now? See how I could understand, and hopefully you can understand how weather isn't just weather, how, you are a spirit. You are me, you, and everybody here, mostly, are souls here, right? You came from the spirit world to be here to experience this time. Therefore, you will return to the spirit world, and the veil is very thin. Therefore, the spirit world is here, and we're huge. We can't ever forget how big we are. We're massive. I've always said that. I don't know how we fit in this little teeny meat suit. We're massive. Hence, so isn't the spirit world. So they will use tornadoes and such, and volcanoes, and all kinds of, storms in the ocean. Pick a feature. So a lot of people don't have the knowledge. Maybe, I don't know. Well, this guy does. This guy does. So that's what I found weird about it. I was just finding, I think he just wants to talk it to death. Yeah, I've just come to that conclusion. After 5 years, no one's come out and done a paranormal investigation. I have my suspicions of I think he just wants to talk it to death. I really hope he gets the help, but I'm not so sure, some people don't want it. It's strange. I know that sounds weird, but when you've made suggestions, if someone's asking for your guidance and help, right, and I've reached out to a demonologist and shared evidence of this, and we came up with the same suggestions, and he's not doing it, and he's just finding someone else to talk it to death, I can't help you. I just can't help you. So there's that. It just comes a time where dust my pants off, get up off the ground, and be like, okay, have a nice day. And that's where I stand with that. So I don't know. I find it some high strangeness sometimes with people. So I think I think when you go through this, you do want to document it. Some people don't know, but nowadays, with all the AI and videos out there, that's a stretch for me. But I respect what you're saying ultimately. I really do. Because sometimes people just don't know what they don't know. And most people do want to document it because it's so high strangeness. Like, they want to show, like, this is what's going on, and this is weird, and this is happening now with a lot of people. Before, it was, you never really heard about it, right? Back in the 80s, 70s, even the 90s, it was borderline. It was like hush hush, no one really talked about it. You were crazy, and they weren't. They were experiencing high velocity of paranormal activity. And then it was different kind of cameras. Nowadays, you could have cameras all over your house for, affordable price, if you will, and able to document properly. So, I don't know. Just my thoughts on that anyway. Exactly. Exactly. That was so well said. That's so funny. Do you mind if I read that? I'm going to read that out loud. I hope you're okay with that. Like, people who come to your channel, you think they would want to listen or share about the topic and not say stupid shit. Sorry for swearing, but it's true. Oh, man. That is the best. That's the best today. Thank you for that. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope that this made sense to some of you out there. If it didn't, that's okay. We'll keep trying, right? We keep trying. Peace be with all of you. Glory, glory to Most High God always.